Celebration Company. Happy Monday. I hope you had a really great weekend. I am glad to see y'all today. Today we are going to make a piece of wall art. I have got this beautiful frame right here, and I want to use this image, which is part of our Celebrate and Create Paper Club from the month. And this is one of the designs. So we're going to be using this image, but as you can see, it doesn't fit inside our frame. It's a little bit too big. And so what I want to do is create a mat so that I can use this image inside the frame. We're going to be covering our mat in some vintage fabric that I've got right here. So this is going to be what the mat is going to look like around the edge. So I think it's going to be really beautiful. I hope. Hopefully we can make it work. And hopefully we can come up with something that's going to look really nice. So we'll see. But when you hop on, say, hey, let me know you're watching. I hope you had a really great weekend. We had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It was the last weekend of Griffin's spring break. And so we finally got some time to take him to do some fun things. So we took off Friday and went up to Jungle Gyms. That is what he chose. And so we went to Jungle Gyms and did some shopping and got some stuff for a taste test to do with you all, hopefully tomorrow. And Griffin got a few things, and then we played a golf simulator Friday night. Friday evening, and he loved that as well. So, wasn't the DDB reveal supposed to be today? Possibly. It's a good possibility that it was, but I don't know. I don't know if it was or not, y'all. I'm really off my game today, like in a major way. So let's see. Yeah, indeed it was. Indeed it was. So, oops. I'm sorry. I messed up. Surprise, surprise. That's nothing unusual, right? Sorry, y'all. Hey, April. Hi, Janae. Hi, Rhonda. Hey, Ruby. Hey, Kim. Hello, Nancy. Hi, Cindy and Laura. Hey, thanks for celebrating. Hello, Ruby. Hi, Patty. Mom's doing pretty good. Oh, I'm so sorry, Teresa. That is way too young. I'm so sorry to hear that. Hey, Stacy. Hi, Carol. Hey, Cindy. Hi, Nancy. Hello, Trish and Pam and Jamie. Hi, Nancy Hoover. Happy to see you too, Jenny. Hi, Glenda. Hey, Aletta. All right, y'all. So we will have to reschedule the DDB reveal because I forgot. Cheryl, the DDB is the DIY decor box. It is our monthly subscription, and typically we go live every month and reveal, and I definitely forgot for this month. So we'll get to that. I'll let y'all know. All right. Thank you so much for sprinkling and celebrating. All right, y'all. So the first thing we need to do is plan this out. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this backing off here. This is just a thrift store frame, and it's got this little piece here that is stapled on. So I just want to pull it out, and we're going to use that as our template, essentially. Let me use a paint scraper and see if that's not going to work. Let me try a flathead screwdriver. Yay, Cheryl. Okay, let's see here. I'd really like to not tear this thing apart, but I don't, these staples are in there really good. I can't seem to get anything underneath them. And they're good, y'all. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can get all of these out. No, Roxanne, it is not. But when I have the air on, I am cold. It's 676 here. I do have a tank top on. I have to wear something in the house. I have to wear long sleeves in the house because otherwise I am cold. All right, one more. Okay. All right. Perfect. So we got that out. So this is going to act as kind of our template. Let's see if we can remove the staples out from the back of this. Actually, this might not be the best template because I think it's a little bit too big. I think we're going to have to actually measure. Yes, Jamie, I have been printing them actually. We should be able to get them on the website this week. Thanks for waiting. I'm sorry that you're having to wait so long. But yes, I have been getting them printed, so we have stock of them, and then we'll work on getting pictures and all that fun stuff this week. All right, let's see here. Let me pull this staple out right here. All right. Okay, so let's measure this. Let me get a yardstick. 80, wow. Okay, so we need to cut 10 inches, a little bit more than 10 inches. A little bit more like 10 and a 16th of an inch. And 13 and a 16th of an inch. 10 by 13 and a 16th of an inch, okay? I have got this piece right here, which had a picture in it that I ordered. Some kind of print. I don't remember what it was, but it's some kind of print. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this apart, and we're going to use this. This is going to be our mat, okay? So I'm going to trim this little edge off here. I'm using a sharp knife, okay? And I know that didn't cut perfect, which is no good. Okay. All right. I'm glad you're excited, Jamie. Okay, so I know that edge did not cut perfectly. So now I'm like curious, okay, what do I do? I don't have a square up here. So let me grab something like this. Let's see here. We are just, doing this the best that we can. Okay, so let's see here. Does that look okay? All right, I'm gonna cut this edge off hopefully. hopefully I can get it better. Okay. All right. So 10 by 13, and we're going to add a 1/16 of an inch. So let's measure this. 10 this way and a 1/16 of an inch. We'll make a mark with a pencil. Bonjour, Marie. Okay, and then let's come down this way and measure again 10 and 1/16 of an inch. Okay. And then we're going to cut this down this way. Just like making sure this is right, because, you know, if it's not, then I've ruined the only piece that I've got. So let me just double check. Okay, 10 and 1/16. 10. Okay, this is right. All right, so let's line this up. The first thing we need to do is cut the outside edge, and then we'll cut the inside. Okay. All right, so there's the width. Now we need to cut the length, which is 13. My knife just fell. There it is, right there on top. All right, 13 now, and a 1/16 of an inch. All right, and down here, 13 and a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, let me measure again to double check, make sure we're right. I only want to do this once. Yay, Sandy. 13. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let's cut this. All right. Okay, here we go. So here is our piece. Let's make sure it fits. Fits in there pretty well. It's not perfectly square, so it's not fitting perfect, but it's really, really super duper close. So I'm going with it. Jenny, it's not new. I just don't use it very often because I usually just cut on the glass. But since I was doing a lot of cutting, I thought, well, we'll use the cutting mat. Sandy, you can buy the winter blue from us. We do have it on our website. All right, so here's the next part we got to figure out here is the amount that our mat is going to cover our sign. When we put our sign in here, we only have about 1/2 inch on these edges and about 3/4 of an inch on the top and the bottom. The part that's throwing me off is that on the sign itself, there's also less of an edge on these edges here than there is on the top. So it's going to be hard to balance it out. So what I want to do is see about what does it look like to cover a specific amount. So if we did like 2 inches or 1.5 inches all the way around. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to cut some strips out of this, and let's just look at it and see what it looks like. That way I know what I like. I feel like that's going to be the easiest way. Oh, is that right, Doreen? Okay, so I'm going to do 2 inches first. Where's my pencil? Here it is. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 inches first, and let's just see here. Cut a couple of 2-inch strips. Let's go ahead and this doesn't have to be perfect because we're just trying to get an idea here of how this is going to look. All right, second one. Messed that one up a bit. Okay. So, just to figure out how this looks, I'm just going to cut these strips down to size so I can just kind of see. Okay, see, that's what I was worried about. I was worried that it was going to cover up too much of the image. See what I'm saying? Can y'all see that? So we did 2 inches all the way around, and what happens is we're covering up a lot of this edge, but we still have a lot of this edge, and so I don't know if I like that. So the only other option is to change. We can do a smaller mat, or what would it look like to do less of a mat on the edges here if we did, like, say 1.5 inches or so. If you did something like that, I think that's going to look better. So we need 2 inches at the top, 2 inches at the bottom, then 1.5 inches. Yes, 1.5 inches on the edges. Okay. Makes sense? Y'all feel me? Okay. So we have a plan. So let's grab our piece here and let's start marking this out. So we're going to do 2 inches. So I'm going to come right down from the top and make a mark at 2 inches. And then come over here and make another mark at 2 inches. And then I'm going to make a line. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, 2 inches. And 2 inches. We're gonna cover it with fabric, actually. Okay, so we got our lines for the top. You'll see those. So now for the sides, we need 1.5 inches. So again, I'm gonna make my mark, but this time I'm gonna make it at 1.5 inches. I'm a little bit worried, actually. I'm a little worried that I should be making it even bigger than that because of the little edge on the back. You know what I mean? So hang on. Let me look at this again. Trying to make sure that the amount that's going to be showing isn't going to be too little. Okay, I don't think it is. I think it's going to be fine. All right. Okay, so here we go. Let's keep going. So again, down here, we're going to do 1.5 inches. So Tracy, we looked at that a minute ago and that didn't work. And the reason why it didn't work is because of the way that the picture is. There's more space at the top and the bottom than there is here on the left and the right. And so when we did 2 inches all the way around, it cut this off a bit and it just didn't look right. And so I actually think by doing it this way, it's going to make it look more balanced. It's going to trick your eye a little bit, where before it was going to make it look really off. Hopefully, at least. That's why we cut the little strips so that we could play around with it and see what looked right. And it just did not look right with 2 inches all the way around. Okay, I tell you what though, I'm really apprehensive about this. I am going to actually do 1 3/4 inches, and then I can cut off another 1/4 inch if I need to. I'm worried if once it is in the frame behind that little lip that it's not going to be enough. So I don't know. I'm just a little bit, I'm nervous about that. And so I'd rather have to cut it a second time, you know, than for it to not be right. Because this is the only piece of this that I have. So making it a 1/4 inch bigger on those edges, just in case. All right, 1 3/4 inches, 1 3/4 inches down here. Okay, let's make our line, make sure we're lining up to the right mark. I'm gonna go ahead and mark the other line just in case. Okay, so here's what we have. All right, so now we need to cut this out. I'm going to use this one. Okay. we are cutting the bigger side. And okay, just cutting right up against to the other mark. You know, I don't like this. I'm trying to find my metal ruler. I have a metal ruler, a 12-inch metal ruler, but I don't know where it is, y'all. I mean, for heaven's sake. Oh well, let's just use this. Okay. Easier for me to control this than it is for me to control that other piece, or that other ruler. Okay, last one. And then we'll see how it looks. All right, y'all. What do y'all think? Think this is gonna work? Okay. All right, here it is. Let's see how it looks. So I'm gonna put it in here. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of tape to tape this into place so we can make sure it looks right. Make sure that it's lined up evenly on the back of the mat. What do we think? I think it looks pretty good. I think I like it. Yeah, that looks good, y'all. Okay. Our mat is cut. So here we go. Let's finish it. All right, let me pull this back off. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is paint it. We're actually going to be covering it, but I want to paint it first so that the fabric is a true shade of cream. I don't want the color of this background to mute the color of the fabric. So, no paper towels. Of course. All right, so here we go. So let's just grab some white. Any color of white. I'm just going to use regular white. And a paintbrush. And let's get this painted. Okay, here's a paper towel right here. Let's just use this. We might have to do a couple of coats. To make sure that it's coated well. I like it. I think it turned out pretty good. let me dry this real quick. We'll do a second coat. Possibly a third. Let's just see. Okay. It's looking good. So what did y'all do this weekend? Let's see, we also on Saturday, what did we do on Saturday? We were busy all weekend. Just trying to remember what we did. Sunday we went to Keeneland. That was fun. Griffin got to go to Keeneland for the first time. Keeneland is a racetrack, a horse racetrack here in Lexington, about 15 minutes from us. And so we went there, and then Saturday. What did we do on Saturday? We went shopping for shoes. Griffin went to look for new shoes because he won our bracket challenge this year. Our March Madness bracket challenge. Last year I won. This year Griffin won. And he chose for a new pair of Nikes. And so we went shopping for those and then had a birthday party to go to Saturday evening. My grandfather's birthday party. Went to a wedding. I did the flowers for it. Oh, fun, Jenny. I love to go to weddings. Okay, this should be good. Won first place in a car show. Cool, Adriana. What kind of car does he have? Doreen has COVID. I'm so sorry. No fun. No fun at all. All right. I'm wondering if this is going to be good enough or if I need to do another coat. So I'm going to look and see. We're going to put the fabric on and see if I feel like I can see through or not. So this is a fabric that I'm planning on using. It's a vintage fabric. It's got like a fun texture on it. So I'm just going to lay this down, stretch it out. I think we're good to go. All right. Let's do this. So I'm going to take my fabric and I'm just going to cut a piece that is about the size that I need. I don't know where my, there they are. Okay. Definitely cutting too big. Just want to cut a piece to make it easier so I don't have to work with all this extra fabric. Oh, fun, Dana. That sounds like a great weekend. Love going on the boat. Okay, let me see. I gotta figure out which side is the front side. They both look the same. Okay, I don't think it matters. All right. Okay, so here we go. We're going to add some decoupage glue to our mat, and then we'll flip it over on top of our fabric, okay? All right, so grab my decoupage glue and my pouncer, and let's get a good coat of glue all over our mat. Now, this is one of those areas where you can go a little heavy on the glue than what you typically would when you're working with paper. Okay, we want to make sure everything is coated and wet. All right. So now I have this mess right here, and I don't have any paper towels, and I don't know what to do. Just get that paper towel out of the trash. Okay. Pull this back over, and we'll lay this down right on to our fabric. And then press this down. I'm going to flip it over so that I can really press the fabric onto the mat. Oh, good, Adriana. Yes, it's got a small pattern on it. All right. I don't know if you can see it up close or not. Okay. So I'm gonna use my heat tool to dry this and make sure it's adhered. All right. So now we're gonna flip this over, and I'm gonna trim the edges up. We're just gonna wrap this up. Pretty easy. We're just gonna come through, and I'm just gonna cut and trim so that I've got about a 1/2 inch to an inch, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, something like that, excess. There's a pin. I'm not really sure where that came from. Hey, Jackie. Right, and the bottom. And then we're going to cut the corners just across like this, right at the corner. Just cutting an angle right across. Just like that. Okay? So then we can take our decoupage glue again, and we'll add the glue onto the back, just like that. And then we'll just bring the fabric around and press it down. takes a minute to get it to adhere. Okay, there we go. All right, and we'll repeat the process. Let's do this side. Here on the corner, I'm just going to get a little on the fabric from the other side so that if it overlaps the fabric just a little bit, it'll still stick. You got to kind of put some pressure on it. Okay. You want to make sure to kind of pull it tight so it looks really nice on the edges. All right, this one. You can see I'm kind of having to do this a couple of times in order to get it to stick. Teresa, I see you asking about the napkins. Thank you for responding, Sandy. There are 60 napkins total. There's 30 different styles. So 30 different styles and 60 napkins total. So you get 2 of each style. Some of them, though, come in like 2 different colorways. So you just get 1 of each, whatever the different colorways are. So like there's a couple where there's like a blue and a red. You'll get 1 red, 1 blue, not 2 blue, 2 red. Okay. Got the edges finally. Adhered. I've got a couple of these here on the corners. Aren't sticking real well. But a lot of that is going to be hidden because it's all going to be behind the frame. Okay, so here's where we're at. So what I'm going to do now, take my fabric scissors and I'm going to cut a hole right in this middle piece. And I'm going to cut all the way to the corners. Okay. Just cutting angles right to all corners. All right, and then we're just going to trim that as well. So I'm just going to come here and just trim so we have about the same amount all the way around. Pretty simple, right? Okay, there we go, just like that. All right, So then let's do the same thing. We'll get these inside pieces adhered. Maybe okay, there we go. All right. Repeat. I'm trying to make sure that the corners are pulled really tight. And that those are adhering as well. Okay, so here's how it's looking. Look at that, y'all. Doesn't that look good? Okay, let's do the other two sides. Almost done. Just takes a little bit of doing to get this to stick for some reason, at least this fabric. Some fabrics might do better than others. I know. Okay, last side. And our mat is done, and we put this together. And I don't have any glass, I don't think. I wish I did, but I don't have any glass to go in this frame. I'll have to see if I can find a frame at the thrift store that's a 10 by 13. Steal the glass. Okay. All done. All right, let's dry this. Make sure everything's adhered. You can just go over it as you're drying it and just rub over things to make sure it's all adhered. Okay. All right, so here's our mat. It turned out really good. All right, we're ready to put this thing together. They did not come with glass. I can always cut a piece of, or get a piece of acrylic to go in it as well. All right, so let's grab our mat. Let's put our mat in here. Oh, no. We're gonna work. We don't want to work right because of the fabric. I think as long as I put it like that, it'll be fine. Okay. It's almost bad, y'all. Okay. All right, let's add our image. Let me try and get this centered. Let's see if this is right. Okay, no. You need to come to this side a little bit. Let me try it now. Okay, that looks good. All right. So what I think I'll do is tape all the way around the back side so that it stays nice and flush with the mat. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to use masking tape or painter's tape? Or I'm sorry, packing tape or painter's tape. What do y'all think I should use here? This is what it's looking like though. Look how cute. Isn't that cute? Let's try painter's tape. I'm just not sure if it's going to stick or not. Okay, here we go. Now this piece we could put back on here if we wanted to, and we would just staple it on. That's how it turned out. I think it turned out so cute. The only thing I just don't love is I wish that there was something to put behind here, because I just don't like the way that it is, the paper is pushing through. Like it needs something sturdy on the back side. So maybe if I take a piece of chipboard, hang on a second. Let me see if I've got any somewhere. Well, we sell it on the website, but I don't think I have any in my stash right now. Let's see, will this work? The center? I think it will. Okay, let's do. Did I throw the pouncer away? I must have. Thinking if I just glue this to the back. This is the middle piece from the, oh, I don't know, I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little scared it's gonna bubble. Okay, here's what we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to pop this out so that I can put this on the back side and press this down. so that we don't get bubbles. Okay. Now let's put it back in here. Okay. Let's see here. How does that look? Okay, that is better. That is definitely better. Definitely better. I'm going to add a little more tape to the back there. And then we'll put that cover over the back. We'll be good to go. So it did not make the print wet and it did not bubble because I was able to take it out and lay it down and rub it to make sure that it adhered to that piece of chipboard well. So it did not bubble or anything like that. Turned out really cute. I'm trying to decide, do I want a piece of glass or do I like it like that? I thought that I had some glass at one point, but I maybe have gotten rid of it. Y'all, look at what I just found. A square ruler. Could have used that. You just never know what I'll find down here. But anyways, y'all, that turned out super cute. I really like how it turned out. So we're just going to go with it like that. So we're going to put this on and I'll just use my staple gun to staple it. Or maybe I'll just use some little nails because I'm worried my staple gun staples are too long. So I have some little bitty nails. Let's see. Let's see if I do. Got some little nails, but they're not like short nails. I'll have to find some. I've got some little screws. Could use tacks. I could use thumbtacks. No, I'm just gonna get some nails, I think. And I'll just find some nails and we'll just nail this on the back side. But anyways, that's how you make a DIY mat. I hope you all enjoyed this. I think this turned out really cute. I love how it turned out. I'm really glad that we did the different sizes on the edge because I think if I had done 2 inches on the edge here, it would have been too much. And an 1.25 inches here would have, or 1 3/4 inches here just wouldn't have been quite enough. So I think that turned out really good. Of course, we couldn't have done much more, but I think it balanced it out nicely, and I think it looks really nice. It has a vintage feel, very cottagecore, and this may end up being hung in my kitchen or in my house somewhere. We'll see. But thank you all for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Be on the lookout. I will reschedule the DIY decor box reveal, and I'll see you all